back on the Animal Chronicles, and we're talking to Mr. Oliver Tan of Pooch Park Doggie Daycare. And we were talking about what's Doggie Daycare really, and we've learned so far before the break na it's just like child daycare centers. And it was started 2006, so at that time, hindi pa uso yun. And it was really pioneering in terms of that concept. But I was talking to him during the break, and I already know some of these things, but I want him to share with the listeners. Is there like a good side? Of course, there's a good side. You won't be in the business without a good side. But sometimes there's a downside, and what are those things that you find that tends to sadden you as coming into this business with heart for animals, and then parang may ganung mga instances? What are those instances that, you know?
Well, first, there are lots of good side.
Mm-hmm.
You see how humans love their animals, their pets.
Mm-hmm.
You always see that, and it's very heartwarming to see that. But sometimes there will be days na siguro bad luck day.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get to see an owner who has this, for example, a Shih Tzu that is all matted up. And we suggest to just shave the fur to, you know, let the dog be more comfortable. And then, sasabi niya, ay ayoko, gusto ko, itimat ninyo. And then we have yung pipilitin niya na to demat, as in, it's like pulling your hair. Ganon. And then, the customer will be mad at us because parang they'll accuse us that we're lazy. Ganon, we don't want to demat. Ganon. There will be times that magpapa-daycare, and then they leave the dog.
Not come back for the
Not
dog
come back.
anymore.
Not come back.
Wow, how
And
often
then,
does that happen? Like in a year, how many of those do you get?
well, I'm lucky that for 5 years, it only happened twice.
In 5 years.
Yes, in
That's
5
good
years,
enough.
twice. It just saddens me that sometimes the owner does not really care about their dog, and then they will just leave it. Parang they just show the responsibility to you, and that saddens me. Second is when the customer does not have the resources, or maybe the situation in their life changed that they cannot take care of the dog already. Those are the two instances that it's a bit heartbreaking.
But in those cases, you were able to rehome the dog.
Yes, we were able to rehome the dog. Actually, the dogs were, I think, in the provinces, so they have a very big place to run around. There's one very memorable dog. He's been with us for 6 months. Before he was really angry with us, you know, and when he left, we're already friends with him.
So
There's a bond.
there are people who actually leave their animals for you for months.
Yes, because they just didn't want the dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
But initially, of course, you won't be accepting that unless there was some like excuse, like I'm going out of the country,
Yes.
and they leave a deposit.
Because that what happened was they said they're going to leave the dog for just a few days, and then they just extended. Yeah. But we always make sure that if you're going to leave your dog, we get a deposit.
And there's a contract that
Yes, a contract, papers to sign. You have to show that your dogs are vaccinated.
Okay. So there are sad things also. Like what do you do how do you cope? Because I know that if you're an animal lover and you care deeply about animals, to go into a business that sometimes involves animals is heartbreaking. Like, has anyone ever come to you and then the dog was aside from the matted Shih Tzu, was there a particularly heartbreaking case, like neglected, and they just wanted you to take? May mga ganun.
I don't know if this will be called neglect, but there's a poodle came in and it's full of ticks.
Ay, neglect yan.
Yeah, as in super full of ticks. That when you run your hand sa body, it's full of lumps.
Yikes.
And then when I check the gums, it's already pale. It's like
Yikes.
sa market.
That's
na,
definitely neglect. Oh.
yun. And we called up the owner and then we said, ma'am, maybe you want to treat the situation. We have these kinds of treatments. And then she said, no, never mind. I'll just have the help pick it up one by one.
Nice.
It's very saddening because I know maybe a week more of this kind of situation, the dog will die. So I just treated the dog like for free. Never mind, as long as the dog stays alive. Yeah. So sometimes we just have to do things or take it on our own hands na to save the dog.
No, there's a fine line also because it brings up things like, do you report these things? Because there was a discussion on the Committee on Animal Welfare also na do vets have the responsibility to tell if they were asked to treat a dog that obviously has dog fighting wounds. So there is parang law that is broken and then parang you have a duty to report. Much like if you're a physician and somebody comes in with a bullet wound, you will treat the person that was shot, but you have an obligation to report because it's a bullet wound. It might be a criminal case. So if you think we could do with a law like that, because right now you have nothing to base it in. So you're like you don't want
it's
to
very objective, you don't want to parang makasama din sa customer.
But if there were a law, then that would make it easier for you, right?
Yes, it will be easier because we have something to, this is our basis, we're just following the law. And it is for the welfare of the animal. And I think customer or pet owners will be more responsible if there will be a law protecting the welfare of the animals.
There actually is the Animal Welfare Act, but right now it's a very weak, very generally term law. That's why wala pa. But what about the best things that you remember about the Pooch Park daycare? Mga cases that
But the best is we're grooming a Shih Tzu, and then the owner said, okay, groom the Shih Tzu because she's going to give birth. So we have to shave the underbelly for the puppies to drink suckle milk, and then the Shih Tzu gave birth in our store. So we have to help the Shih Tzu because the Shih Tzu was very pampered. So she doesn't know what to do. So we have to help. It's just a nice feeling. And maybe sabi nila swerte that a dog or a living creature has given birth.
May
in my
ganun ba
store.
yun sa feng shui? Is there such a thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yun. And it always makes me happy whenever I see Aspins or native dogs that are very well taken care of.
Okay. That brings me to another point. Kasi we created the term Aspin or Aso Pinoy because one of the things that there's this discrimination. Like there are grooming centers, there are doggy spas now, and we noticed the ones that get taken to those facilities are just the purebred dogs. And we were complaining like, why aren't Aspins being taken there? Why are they just considered like guard dogs and then they're fed tira-tira while the purebred dog gets premium dog food, ganon. So in your dog daycare, what's the percentage of, like when you started out, was there anyone bringing a native dog? And then,
When we started, the native dogs were really a minority. However, I think with the help of boss on giving awareness to the public, more and more Aspins are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we receive, magkano magpa-grooming?
Mm-hmm.
For example, it's 450.
Mm-hmm.
Pwede ba ang ASCAL dyan?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, we immediately, let's say, correct the customer. Ma'am, Aspin po ba or native po ba? Pwede ma'am. Mas maganda nga po eh. So, they feel that their dog is welcome in our establishment. So, they don't have this kind of inferiority complex that their dog is a native or something. Whenever a customer comes in with a native dog, all our staff treats everyone equally.
Wow.
And we actually encourage them na, uy ma'am, we can actually see the difference when a native dog is well taken care of and yung mga basta tinali na lang sa bakod. Because the native dog will have a very nice hair, you know, and the dog is happier. You can really see.
And how many on the average, like in a year? So, average number of customers mo, out of that, the percentage now?
When we started, maybe 5%.
5% lang.
But now, almost mga 30%.
Why?
25 to 30%. That's why we are really encouraging owners who have native dogs to, you know, treat their dogs once in a while. That's why when they go to Push Park, lifetime, they have 10% discount.
For Aspins only?
Yes.
For Aspin.
Because there's an Aspin club there.
Okay. So that's one of the privileges.
Yes,
Oh, I forgot that. Yeah, Aspin Club members, Boss Aspin Club members, you have a 10% discount at the Pooch Park.
Yes, because we really want our customers or the public to, you know, start taking care of our natives.
Good, excellent. Yeah. So, why don't we at this point tell them where Pooch Park is and your telephone numbers? But I mean, by now they must be dying of curiosity for those of the listeners that don't know where Pooch Park is. Where is it?
Well, Pooch Park is located at Ortigas Home Depot Complex, Vargas, Pasig. That's our first branch. Our second branch is at Robinson's Metroeast, Vargas Highway. And the third branch is in Alimall, Cubao.
So you have Cubao, Ortigas.
And
Where's that?
it's actually in Pasig, but near in Marikina, Cainta area, near Santa Lucia.
Any plans of like expanding for a fourth branch or?
Yes, there's always plans for expansion. But for me, I take it, you know, slowly but surely, because I always want to maintain the quality of our products and services at a very high level. So I don't want to, you know, just put up stores.
So are you at the store? Every day? Are you at all three stores, or is there a schedule that you actually go?
I make rounds every day.
For all the stores?
For all the stores, I make rounds just to check that everything is in good order. And I make sure that the staff are well trained. Yeah, and it's really nice to, you know, meet friends and talk with the customers because I learn from them a lot.
Anything that the business has taught you, like, of course there are hard lessons, like you have to be, I think, medyo in the face of cruelty or neglect, you'll have to try to grin and bear it and try to convince them, siguro in your own little way, but you generally have to bear it, diba? But generally, what has the business taught you? And is it, you think it's a plus that you're an animal lover and you're in this business, or baka it's a minus because you care too much and you end up not making any money at all because you tend to give away the freebies?
Actually, it's a plus of becoming an animal lover and having this business because I use this business to educate people, and in my own little way, I try to help educate people on how to properly take care of their pets. And in all Pooch Park branches, we do not sell pets.
Live animals.
Yes, we don't sell live animals.
That's very good.
I think
That's
it is
excellent.
one of my morals in business. Yun. And I advocate if, for example, if you're going to buy a pet or something, you adopt or just go to the breeder directly. Yeah.
Responsible breeders.
Yeah,
If they have to
responsible breeders.
buy a purebred pet.
Yes.
And there are a lot of people. Actually, this morning we got an email na about someone who's been victimized by. They bought from a store and the dog had his temper and things like that. So, what is your advice? What would usually indicate to people that it's a good breeder? It's a good source of pets. So, what's the sign you think?
Because I was a breeder myself before, so whenever you go to a breeder, check the area where the pets are located, if it's clean,
Okay.
and you'll see if it's a puppy mill. Because there will be lots of other dogs,
In small cages.
in small cages, and then they're stacked up maybe 13 stories high like that. So you really see the breeder who has a very big heart or has care on the quality of his breeding. So when you see that, well, that's a plus sign already. And then you check the vaccination records if it's complete.
But some vaccination records, I was told na it's a bogus vaccination record. It gets shown these records a lot, but that's not really real. I think when you go to the house, it gives you a lot of clues about the breeder. And I received information also from our friends who are responsible breeders that they generally don't give out to anyone. They would insist on inspecting the place
Yes.
or do checks. It's not just the price that you actually ask a owner. When you were a breeder, what would go on? Like if you wanted to give the person an animal, meron ba?
Usually what I do is I subtly interview the interested buyer. For example, he says, I want a schnauzer, ganyan. Then I'll ask him, where do you live? How many kids do you have?
Okay.
Those things. Because I must be assured that he is looking for the right kind of breed. Those things. And like where do you work? Those things. So I know that he has the financial capability to take care of the dog. And then, do you have pets before? So I know if he really cares or he really wants or loves or has the passion for taking care of dogs.
Yeah, that's what I always tell also people who look for animals. When they ask a lot of questions, and it's not just a matter of how much is it? Oh, I'll pay that amount, and then but they usually, the responsible breeders ask a lot of questions, and it's not just the money that closes the deal. He would generally want to talk to you. He would generally make it a bit difficult. The responsible breeder is not into it for animal. But of course, for us in animal welfare, we just hope that everybody space or neuters their pet,
Yes,
So we're being asked to go on a break. Wow, time flies so fast. We're approaching our last gap for the Animal Chronicles. So when we come back with Mr. Oliver Tan of Pooch Park, we review also like doggy daycare, the future of doggy daycare in the Philippines. What are the prospects and where can it be taken to a whole new level? When we come back here on the Animal Chronicles.